Hey, welcome everybody to the Flat Earth Sunday Showdown. Today, actually, we have for something that's pretty unique for my channel. We don't do a lot of Flat Earth stuff on my channel anymore. However, this was a special occasion. Nathan Oakley from QED had gotten a hold of me through email, telling me that he had heard that we're looking for a Flat Earther to have a conversation with to bring us some evidence for Flat Earth, and he was more than willing to bring his team on and provide it for us. So what we figured we would do is provide a couple of people from his team and a couple of people from the opposite side, people that you know, the Rumpus, Geostriver, Sean Hufford, and a couple other people may join us in a few, and kind of just have a free-for-all Q&A, back and forth conversation on the evidence that they're going to provide for us.
Well, I think just before Rumpus starts on his presentation, I think I'd like to just point out a few key facts to people watching that may go over some people's heads. Now, to everybody on the panel, I'm pretty sure this will be sucking eggs, and I don't mean to teach people on the panel how to suck eggs, but I need to remind people in chat that may not be familiar with our particular style that the assertion by science is that we live on a ball. And I work on two principal basis for everything that I do on Flat Earth. And one is that he who asserts must prove. And the second one is that he who does not have evidence to prove can be dismissed without evidence to prove. Well, so for me, it's empirical.
The problem with that is that you guys are coming in to present your evidence. Nobody here is asserting that the Earth is round. That's not the claim being made, and that has already been demonstrated in science. And in science, when something is accepted, the onus has already been completed. It's already been done. There is no more evidence that they have to give. It's a consensus. Now the onus shifts to the person that wants to override the consensus and give new data to falsify it. That's how it works in science. But we're not here. Well, hang on, we're not here to promote a round Earth. You guys are here to promote a flat Earth. So let's get into the flat Earth stuff and give evidence for a flat Earth.
Just to clarify from my own understanding, are we thinking about science by consensus or science by empirical measurement?
Science by consensus, scientific consensus. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So the bandwagon fallacy is alive and well.
Overwhelmingly in science, they think.
I just want to get that question in as well. So I was thinking the same thing. So your reality is dictated by what everyone else thinks.
That's not the question.
The bandwagon fallacy, right?
No, that's not what the bandwagon fallacy is. But the consent that
yeah, it is.
Do you agree, before Rumpus takes over, do you agree that right now in science the general prevailing model is around Earth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. That is the consensus.
There we go. So Rumpus, go ahead, because that's all that has to do. If the overwhelming consensus, as you just agreed, is around Earth, then we don't have any onus at this point, because we're not asserting that the Earth is round. We're just asking you for your evidence of flat Earth. So let's go that direction.
So at this point, we're applying the bandwagon fallacy to establish an accepted position that the Earth is round. So
we're not
that's just a given fact.
We're not asserting
no, it's
the Earth is round. You're asserting the Earth
bandwagon fallacy, though, right?
No, that's not what the bandwagon fallacy is. What scientific consensus is.
That's exactly what it is. Anyway,
okay,
Rumpus, go on. Let's hear what you're going to say.
Give us a citation for that afterwards. Put it in the group chat. I'll share it. I'll be happy to, honestly. But if you find that the bandwagon fallacy applies to a scientific consensus, please let me know. Go ahead, Rumpus. Let's hold it for 1 second. One second. So Nathan, when we're looking at this, what is the claim that you're making? I don't want Rumpus to make the claim. I mean, Rumpus has the documentation here, but what is the claim that you're making by this island of man in these photos here?
I do actually have a list of them. You might be interested. They might agree with them down here. I've got a list of the claims that they make, but I don't know whether they would agree with those.
Sorry, Rumpus. I didn't mean to be asked a question.
Yeah, let Nathan give his own claims, and then we can see if they to what you have, because I do want him to make his case.
Yeah, indeed. We want Nathan to make his case. Absolutely, yes. We don't want to make his case for him.
Can't seem to shut up.
Go ahead. Okay, so what is the claim that you're making here, Nathan?
So it's fairly simple, based on the circumference of the Earth. So you have a sphere that's 24,900 miles in circumference, and that dictates what you can and can't see. So based on that, you can't see much of what is in these images. It's basically not there. It's behind the curve of the Earth. And with one specific part of the Isle of Man, there's a lighthouse called Morgold Lighthouse. and Morgul Lighthouse sits behind a 170-foot wall of earth, which you can't see through because it's a wall, and it is approximately 600 feet or 600 feet plus below your feet. So it is physically impossible to see many of the things that are in this image if you believe you live on a sphere.
Absolutely not.
So our assertion is that we see them because they are there, and we live on a flat plane.
Okay, so you're saying that the distance from your vantage point to the lighthouse is such that that lighthouse on a round Earth would be below the horizon.
Yeah, you can't see it; it's not there.
Okay,
physically.
so Rumpus, what?
Okay, well, I'll go with some listings of the claims, and they can disagree with whether or not they're the claims that they have offered. I've got a list of them here. Then this is a. Then Anthony changed his claim slightly in a second video. Here he was saying this was
hang
all.
on, can I just interrupt, please? This is my my video, and it's my claim, and I've not had a chance to speak any part of it. And Rumpus is doing a great job of messing up what my claim actually is.
Well, that's why I make sure that I don't want anybody to be a straw man.
Yeah,
So
I don't want to miss.
Yeah, that's fine, Rumpus. What is your claim pictures?
Okay, for the benefit of everybody watching, you can disregard everything that Rumpus has just said, because essentially there is one claim and one claim only. If I can share my screen. St. Bees is a touristy holiday place. It's on the coast. It's in a nice little cove. It's quite picturesque. The dogs like it. We went on a short breakaway, and what I noticed was that there was some hills that we could go up to the top of. Now, I did go there with the intention of trying to see Blackpool Tower from 50 miles away. But on the day in question, to my south, it was misty, and I didn't have good enough visibility. But to my immediately in front of me, which would have been westwards, I was able to see the Isle of Man. And because I didn't see what I wanted to see, I just took a panorama of what I could see, and I realized I could see quite a lot of stuff. It was quite interesting. But what I noticed when I took the panorama, which was from the top of the cliff here, I could see stuff that was very difficult for me to see, and it appeared to be floating. So being a flat earther, I thought, I wonder how low I would be able to go before that thing disappears, because I know it'll disappear at some point because of different flat earth concepts known as angular resolution limitations, and there's things that stop us from seeing the thing on the horizon, like we call refraction. It differs to your interpretation of the word refraction, but I knew that if I was to drop my elevation, there would come a point where I would not see it anymore. So what I did was, based on what I could see at the top, I dropped my elevation and came down to a decent elevation, but as low as I could get it before I came down to the beach, so I could see this floaty land. And what I did was I got to the side of these caravans at the side of this caravan park that we stopped in, and basically Google Earth puts it at 35 feet. And what we did was I zoomed into the Isle of Man from the elevation that Google cites. Now, the tide was pretty much out at this time, but the elevation cited at this point is 35 feet. Now, this is the Isle of Man, and it does appear to stop here. And I'd already pre-armed myself with what I should see. And I knew that I should see this part because this is the highest part of the Isle of Man, but relative to this part to the right that is behind the apparent curvature of the Earth, or the claimed curvature of the Earth. So I wasn't expecting to see anything beyond to the right. But when I got to the top of the cliff and then came down in elevation to see how low I could get before it disappeared, I could see this land. Now, this land on the shape of the Earth, the spheroid geometric curve of the Earth, the ball that we live on, whatever this land is shouldn't be there because it's way behind the curve of the Earth. So the question I asked was, what is this land? Is this land Isle of Man? Is it Scotland, or is it Ireland? From my line of sight, it could be all three. Depends on the exact bearing, depends on how far away they are, depends on visibility and the atmospheric conditions at the time, which were exceptionally good. However, this land, if Isle of Man, should not be visible. It should not be there. It should be behind the Earth, behind the curve of the Earth by some degree. You may see little like the tippy toppies at some point, but this land that is evident in the picture should not be there. Now, I put the video out to ask, could anybody identify it? Because there are features of it that people may recognize if they're familiar with the area. But essentially, the question was, what is the land? And the problem is, if it turns out to be the Isle of Man, it's behind the curve of the Earth. It can be seen from a really low elevation, and it's not consistent with the geometric shape of the Earth. That was the claim. Now, from that, we did have the elevation from the higher point where we did get to see more, and a composite was formed, and everybody basically, we started having many conversations about what we could and couldn't see, and how much curve should there be, and should it be behind the curve or not? Why can we see it? It's not matching the evidence, and there was weeks of back and forth, and it was really enjoyable. But essentially the claim is this land, if Isle of Man, should not be seen. That's the claim. But essentially the claim is this land, if Isle of Man, should not be seen. That's the claim. So it was a case of what is the land, and if we can identify it, why can we see it if it's Isle of Man? That is the claim. So, I mean, that is the claim. So this, I mean, if I show you the what do you call it, the distances involved for a second, and I'll run through very quickly the curve calcs on it. But from this position here, this is the land that we're looking at, and it varies in distance. It's about 33, 34, 35 miles, depending on how far into the island that we're looking at. But from the elevation given on Google at 35 feet, even when you minus off the tide for an adjustment, which I did, I put it up to 52 to adjust for the tide, it still puts it significantly behind the curvature of the Earth. So I'll just quickly show you some of the curve calcs on it, just to complete it. So distance in miles is around about 33, depending on how deep into the island that you're looking at. 35 was my elevation, but I adjusted it to 52 to account for the tide, and we get a refracted hidden value of 314 feet. But the problem is, when you go into this land here, you can see that the land, looking down at the value down here, gives you an elevation of nowhere near 300. Now, there is an area in the island somewhere, which is called Bride, which the ballers did correctly identify. And you can see that this is the highest elevation part of Isle of Man, but it doesn't get anywhere near 350 feet of refracted hidden, which is this is the claim of the ballers that we live on the ball Earth. So when I go back to the refraction calculator, there isn't enough elevation at 314 feet in the land that we're looking at for it to be seen. But we're seeing not just the tippy tops of things, like 1 or 2 points. We're seeing actual land. We're seeing volume of land. It should be behind the curve of the Earth. That is what the claim was.
Up here. Now,
okay,
if you can,
I honestly, I don't mean to like put the kibosh on you. I got to stop you on this. It's just your presentation has gone on too long, and I know other people are messing.
Well, I'm about to come to the. In fact,
we'll
I'm about to come to the punchline here. I'm about to come to the punchline, demonstrating that you cannot use Google Earth at the site.
I think everybody understands that now.
No, they don't. I'm going to, because they can argue that it's accurate at the site, but not in principle. Okay, I'm going to show at the site it doesn't work.
Okay, Rumpus.
Okay?
Let's ask them if they concede that point. Nathan.
No, they're not going to concede that point.
Can I ask them? Oh. Nathan, do you agree that the analysis that Anthony did using Google Earth is incorrect, because the fact that Google Earth does give a specific error measurement that when you factor it in makes his analysis incorrect? Do you accept that?
No, I mean, okay. What we've had is the guys just joined the panel. The guy who's joined the panel just a moment ago, Miles Davis, went to a position which is 200 yards down the beach and measured it. So we've kind of looked at that. Well, no, Google's not wildly inaccurate based on what we.
I'm going to come on to that.
it
Okay,
seems
so
Rumpus.
present your claim real quick, and then. So what are you saying then, Nathan? That what Rumpus is saying is wrong?
Well, no. What I'm saying is there was an assertion made, like the one that's just been made by the Rumpus, which is to say that there is an accuracy on Google which is plus or minus 30 meters. So at that point, this is a month ago or maybe even longer, we were left in a position where we had to ask ourselves, well, are we making an assertion that could be later debunked if someone just went and ran a tape measure down it? So we had to go and satisfy our own I don't know what the word you'd use is. We had to satisfy ourselves that assertion that Google is wildly inaccurate was not the case. So Anthony and Ranty, who unfortunately is not here, went to the actual location and measured it with a tape measure and showed it to me. And I said, well, their assertion that Google's wildly inaccurate doesn't stand. It's not. Therefore, I'm happy to just carry on making the exact same assertions based on the fact we are testing Earth as a sphere. And the representation that we have as mere men is Google. That's what we have. I mean, Chris has just sent me a link showing that it is used in certain applications and is described as being accurate when cross-referenced. So you get contradictory information in terms of whether or not it's accurate. The only way to confirm that was to go and measure it. And since we've had people on our opposing side present us with data that seems to show that it's not wildly inaccurate.
Okay, can I come back and then address all that?
Hang on,
so carry on.
we have
Okay, but I wanted this. But this is the big present.
Rumpus, there are 10 people in this hangout.
I know.
I
haven't had my 5 minutes yet, so I did say I was going to need it. Okay, but I'm coming to the punchline.
Unless we have time dilation, I think we had more than 5 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm going to come to the punchline very quickly here.
Right, 1 minute.
Specifics.
And we'll
no, I'm going to need more than
1
a minute. I'm going to need more than a minute. Well, I'm going to address exactly the points that Nathan's made, and I'm going to do it in a very readily understandable way.
Okay, Rumpus, do you want the 1 minute or not? You get 1 minute, then I need to turn it over to Sean, and Anthony wants to speak. So you have 1 minute. Well, do you want that? Yes.
It's quite devastating what I'm about to present. If you allow me to do it,
then don't. Okay, so we're going to move on.
Right.
We'll get back to you, Rumpus.
Oh,
all right, Sean, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to need some help from you, Anthony, on this one. You were showing your video from your first observation point a little bit ago. Can you go ahead and pull that back up for me?
Yeah, sure. 1 sec.
And go to the point where you were showing the caravans.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Can you go ahead and present him, Steve?
Who am I presenting?
Me.
Anthony.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you stopped sharing. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Okay, there's good. Leave it zoomed out. Go back to where you're zoomed out. Okay.
Are we good?
Yep. And as Nathan just said, that you went back there and measured the height of the cliff at 29 feet. Can you show on that picture where that measurement was taken at?
That's not what I said at all. What I said was they went back to check whether it was wildly inaccurate. So there was an assertion made that Google, like Rumpus has just done, literally right now.
But here's the thing. Nathan. Here's the thing, Nathan. Nathan,
the assertion.
Anthony.
Sorry.
Hang on. One at a time.
You've misrepresented what I said. That's not what I said. I said we had a claim made that Google is wildly inaccurate, like Rumpus has just done, and we went back to measure to test the validity of that claim.
And okay. So Anthony, at your location now, don't leave the screen, leave this up, but when you checked this location, what did it say your elevation was?
I'll do it for you live.
Did you not say it was 35 feet, correct?
I'll do it for you live.
Why don't you just tell us what you said instead of having to...
I'm going to show you because I like to prove things.
Yeah, we don't need time with you showing us. Just tell us what you said.
34, 35, and if you bear with me, I will show it in the video where it says it. Wait. Just before. There we go. According to Google Earth, it is around 35 feet tall.
Okay. And now let me continue. Go back to that last frame with the caravans.
Okay.
Now you went back with a measuring tape and measured some stairs, correct?
We measured a lot of things.
Well,
Stairs.
the one that you've actually shown was a set of stairs where you claimed it was 29 feet. Where are those stairs located in that picture?
This is where I think that you're cross-referencing two different conversations, Sean. In the picture, well, I'll show you where this picture was taken from is here, but the stairs that you're referring to is this pathway here. This is a different conversation.
I'll go back to the last frame.
And it's to there. That's basically where it was, because you can see that the path goes down there. That's the path that we were talking about this morning at 29 feet.
How tall are those caravans?
12 feet? They're about 12 feet tall.
Okay, and you're about at least twice their height above the base of the caravans, and you're going to say that is 12 feet higher than 29?
I'm going to reassert my position and say that the 35 feet given by Google Earth is not wildly inaccurate.
I'm going to definitely beg to differ with you on this one, because unless those caravans are 4 feet tall, there is no way possible that you were at 35 feet.
Miles Davis claims to have measured these.
Sorry, just want to jump in and just say something. Anthony's claim is simple. He keeps reasserting it, and people keep straw manning him like you're doing.
But we're going by his observation location, not by what he got from a set of stairs that wasn't at his observation location. Two, Nathan, when he filmed this, look where the tide was. 3, when he went back and measured, he was at high tide. He's strawmanning his own argument.
Why is Steve not shutting this guy up? So, Anthony's assertion has been made dozens of times. The value attributed to that position on Google is. That's the claim. Anthony is claiming
it's not accurate. Because Google's saying, according to Google, which you guys are saying is accurate, those caravans are only 4 feet tall.
Shut up. What is your problem? I don't know who's talking.
Because you're making the claim that that Google Earth is correct, and clearly it is not.
At the end of one sentence. Anthony's claim is simple. Google says it's at 35 feet. End of sentence.
Okay, now that your sentence is over, again, he measured that at 29 feet for the stairs to high tide. So those stairs are at 29 feet. We can assume that those caravan bases are at 29 feet as well. He's more than twice the height of those caravans. There is no way.
Value on Google Earth in any way.
But he just read the value for his location where he's standing is inaccurate. Unless those caravans are only 4 feet tall.
Assert that Google Earth is inaccurate, that's fine. What you've just done is Anthony is inaccurate. Well, no, he's using the value.
No, I have stated that your claim that Google Earth is accurate is wrong.
No, it's not. We're not asserting Google Earth is accurate.
We have said it use Google Earth if it's inaccurate.
We have tested the claim that it is wildly inaccurate, and we are happy to report that that claim is not valid. It is not wildly inaccurate.
And I can refute that in the rest of my presentation. I've got an exact refutation of that very thing.
Me too.
We've measured it. But...
Steve, can I maybe go next for like 1 minute?
Yeah, I'm trying to get one more person in here. If I don't know the person's name, I'm automatically ejecting them. But I'm trying to get Jem in here.
Jem Panda's here.
Panda would be good. Yeah.
Oh, was that Jem that I just ejected? I didn't because it was.
Yeah, that was Jem Panda. You just ejected.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't recognize the name. It was his GEM. Jem, do you have a sock account you'd come in or another account? Because I told him to message me. I didn't. You're not sniped, Jem. I actually removed you because I was looking for Jem Panda and you came in under a different name. So could you have another name you possibly come in?
Sorry to interrupt you, Steve. If people want to debunk what Google claims, they're welcome to. It's not Anthony's assertion. It's Google Earth's value that he has attributed to his location. Simple.
So you were saying that the caravans are 4 feet tall. Okay, we got your point.
Can Alex go next, and then I can finish off my presentation, and I'll clear up a lot of confusion.
That's a really low blow. Why would you do that? Why would you misrepresent me like that? Why would you do that?
Well, what is Google is accurate, and value of a stair
change based on your extrapolation of this image. That value is just a value attributed by Google. That's it. Simple.
And it's demonstrating that Google is not accurate.
Nathan and Anthony are using Google Earth, knowing
Google Earth is accurate, lads. Good for you.
Can Alex go and I can finish on my presentation? It'll only take me a couple of minutes to finish off a bit and clear up a lot of the issues we're talking about here. Because Alex wants to talk.
Yeah, Steve, could you maybe present me?
Yes, Alex.
Because we still haven't established with Nathan. Nathan still doesn't seem to understand how inaccurate Google Earth can actually be. So,
and honestly, I'm not. Before you start, I don't know what his claim is. Is he saying Google Earth is accurate, or it's not accurate, or it's only accurate to like a 30 meter variance?
They are using the value that Google Earth gives out and plugs them into the Earth curvature calculator.
Asserting on what I'm not asserting. I'm happy to answer that. I'm happy to sit here and let you guys tell us, the flat earthers, how broken Google is, but don't assert that it's Anthony's claim. It's outrageous.
It was Anthony's claim. His whole argument was based on
his entire argument is based on his altitude getting from Google.
It's all about how broken Google is. Go ahead.
Let Alex make his point. Let Alex make his point.
How broken Google.
So as soon as Anthony plugs in the value into the Earth curvature calculator that Google Earth gives out, we can assert that he thinks that Google Earth is accurate enough to use it. And this is pretty easily to refute.
No. That's not my position.
Yeah,
my position is that,
of course, it is.
My position is that Google Earth is not wildly inaccurate.
I said it 3 times. Why are you deaf?
Because y'all are crawfishing. Because for a whole month, y'all use that value.
Alex is going to show it is wildly inaccurate. Let him finish.
Yeah, let's let Alex show us how wildly inaccurate.
Yeah, it's a giggle, Nathan. Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, giggle a bit.
No, Nathan's quite correct.
Alex, get on with it.
Hang on, Jen. Let's remember that the assertion is that
Alex has the floor. Go, Alex.
All right. So when you take a look at the screen that I'm sharing right now, this is the second position from which we have taken the other video. All right. And I've drawn in a line from here to there. And in Google Earth, there's a tool which you can use to actually find out the height profile of this. As you can see, the point here corresponds to that red arrow that you can see on the top. So as you can see, this part in the ocean is at 4 meters, but whatever, we don't exactly know where the tide was when that picture was taken. And it slopes up to about 16 meters where the second position was. Now, the important thing is, if you actually take a look at that graph over here, you see the actual individual points on that line. Do you see how linear that is?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well shown.
Yeah, all right. And Anthony, you had been showing a picture of, or a photograph of that coastline like a minute ago. Can you please bring that up again?
Which I'm not familiar with. What was?
It was in your video. You just set it up like 2 minutes ago.
Well, you can look at mine. You can look at mine. This shows.
Oh yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The point is, you can see that even though Google Earth gives out this slope as being linear from the beach all the way up to the top of the cliff, it clearly isn't according to the pictures that are taken. So you can see that right here, the height profile of Google Earth is totally messed up, which shows brilliantly how accurate it is in terms of height.
Brilliant, that's excellent, Alex.
So that's one point. And the other point that you can use from only using this part over here, if you go to the point directly below the cliffs, it gives the value as 13 meters. Do you see that? Yeah, obviously my Google Earth is in German. This value here, this is the height. And
right,
it gives this position.
What is the height variance right there, if I can ask, from the 2 points, from the apex to the beach? What is the height variance there?
Yeah, that was the point that I was trying to make. So this point over here is given at 12 meters.
Okay.
And this one here is given at 16. So Google Earth only gives the difference in height of these 2 points of 4 meters.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can see how inaccurate it is on that part.
I'm going to go into that in detail in the rest of my presentation if I can finish it off.
Okay, so
can I finish off?
Well,
yeah,
first of all,
before you continue, and
sorry, Alex, I didn't mean to stop you there.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Rumpus.
Wait, can I please ask one question to Nathan? So Nathan, you've seen how screwed up Google Earth is in terms of accurately presenting height profile at cliffs. Do you then not understand what a dumb idea it is to trust the height values of it?
Alex, can I shed some light on this?
Alex, if you were to extend that red line,
people talk as soon as the question's asked. But I'll just go up, just sit and let everyone else answer for me.
Well, Nathan, I've asked you a direct question.
Hello.
Yes, I know, and try to answer like they're doing now, pretty much straight away as soon as I talk.
All right, so let Alex finish his little thing here. Alex, finish this up. Are you done?
Well, I have. And I want to know if Nathan understands what I was demonstrating and why he's therefore wrong.
Okay, so Nathan,
me
you
to say, do I understand how inaccurate Google is? And I'm happy to say, yeah, it's really bad. It's really useless. And yeah, it's amazing that you guys are building up all these strawmans and basically.
In what way is it a strawman?
Great.
Hello.
Great. You guys carry on debunking Google. It's really great listening to it.
Okay, well, if I'll be doing more than that if I can finish up my presentation, Steve.
Is anybody at the start of the show? Steve said he didn't want any straw men.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing, I don't know what
say this about straw men. And so far, nobody, not one of you, has addressed Anthony's point about the land that should not be seen. Not one of you have looked.
I will.
We have.
But essentially, the claim is this land, if Isle of Man, should not be seen. That's the claim.
Nathan, I'm sorry. We have.
Y'all made a claim yet? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's gone 30 minutes and nobody's made a claim yet. Can we get on topic?
We made a claim. The claim is there's land that shouldn't be seen, and nobody. We're at St. Bees. We've gone to Germany. We haven't looked at that land. Nobody has addressed that. We've had lots of.
Nathan, please let me explain. Please let me explain. Rumpus, please do me a favor and let me try to explain this to Nathan.
I think Alex is addressing this point exactly spot on right now. We
haven't taken a look at the actual heights yet because the actual heights aren't known at this point. What we've shown is that Anthony plugs in the values that he took of Google Earth into the Earth curvature calculator, and then of course he will get false values. So first of all, before we can do an actual calculation that will yield correct results, we have to establish how inaccurate Google Earth is and which system of survey we have to use to actually get good results or matching results.
Yeah. So we have to establish it. It's absolutely crucial. So it's a sounding complaint we haven't got to the minute. We've got to get the observer height sorted out before we can start deciding what you can and cannot see. That's absolutely crucial. So if I could get onto that, I will then be establishing exactly what the observer height is, and from there we can then start saying what we should or should not be seeing.
Again, that's another straw man. So
okay,
explained at the
keep on saying the straw man. How are the straw mans?
It is. We explained at the beginning. Seeing this stuff is a geometric impossibility at this distance. So what we're doing in terms of establishing heights is never going to stuff back. Seems like lots of people talk when I talk.
Yeah,
so
none of this, you got to stop. You got to stop interrupting people, Rumpus. Honestly,
it's all behind the curve of the Earth. It's a geometric impossibility to see it at this distance. So far, 0 people on this.
And I'm going to show by the observer height. You can see it. That's the point I'm trying to address. But I'm not being allowed to get there.
At 31 miles.
George, we'll get to George. We'll get to George in a second. Rumpus. All right, you have finished your thing, and then we're going to let everybody else go from there. Rumpus. What he said.
Rumpus is at about half an hour. Lovely.
Nathan,
thank you.
Right.
Hang on.
Right. So what we're trying to.
Rumpus.
So the key thing.
Hang on.
I'm sorry. It's a lag here, Steve. I don't mean to stop.
I know it is. You're right. And I want to apologize to live feed. There is some lag going on. I know the live chat here's the over talking, but there is some internal lag in here. Not going to front. So, but it's the claim right now seems to be, and I do not want to straw man Nathan. I want to make sure this is very clear on the table here. He is saying that is an impossibility to see the lighthouse, and that on a flat Earth. He's using that as evidence that on a flat Earth you would be able to see it. That's the way I'm interpreting it.
And do you understand, Steve, that absolutely crucial to that claim is the height of the observer? So we need to get that sorted.
I quite understand these things, yes, but I want to make sure that Nathan is making that claim so you can address it. Nathan, is that your claim?
Yes, my claim is that the land that is specifically been brought up by Anthony, he's had it on screen and showed it, and it was brought up as the original claim that we should not see this land if we live on a sphere. My claim is simple. It is a geometric impossibility to see it.
But are you saying that on a flat Earth you would be able to see it? You said yes. But you said on a flat Earth you would be able to see it like this.
Well, on a flat Earth, we have a direct line of sight. On a sphere, it isn't there. There is a wall of water, and it is approximately 600 feet below your feet. It is impossible to see.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with your evidence. Are you using this evidence for a flat Earth? Just say yes, because I think that's what you're doing. Okay, but that has nothing to do with your evidence. Are you using this evidence for a flat Earth? Just say yes, because I think that's what you're doing.
Well, so I want to see it in the image, Steve. You saw it in the image, right?
It's a yes or no
Right.
question. Are you using this? Okay, he is. I'm just going to go with that the assumption.
I'm asking you
not
have to establish what you understand and what you don't understand. Do you understand that in a photograph we do see land?
Okay, Nathan, what I understand isn't really important right now. I'm asking you a direct question. Is this evidence for a flat Earth? Yes or no?
I'm trying to explain my evidence. We see land. That's the evidence, and you're saying that's not important.
For a flat Earth, correct?
Sorry, the title of the show is A Flat Earth. I've got in touch with you about being here about a flat Earth. You've asked me flat Earth evidence. Why are you asking me this question?
Because there's a difference between negative evidence towards the spherical Earth and positive evidence for a flat Earth. And I don't want to straw man you. Because we're claiming
for a flat Earth, Steve. We see the land. You understand that we see it? You understand that we see the land, Steve? Do you understand that?
So yes, we understand. So okay, Rumpus, you have the floor now.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Simple, Steve. We see the land. We see the land, Steve. That's because it's there. And it is a geometric impossibility to see it on a sphere. It's not there on a sphere, but we do see it, Steve. That's
all right, we get it. All right, so Nathan made his claim. Rumpus, you have the floor. Go.
Brilliant. Right. So the key thing about that observation in Nathan's claim is the height of the observer. So I'm going to demonstrate that they're basing their heights on Google Earth. Right. So here is the cliffs.
Wrong. We can't see it on a sphere. This is straw man.
Yeah, you can.
Well, he made the claim. He's going to show that you can on a sphere, and it's not evidence for a flat Earth. That's what the Rumpus is doing. So let him make his presentation.
It's a geometric impossibility.
It's not a geometric impossibility. Stop
interrupting me, Nathan. You've made your assertions, Nathan. You've made your assertions.
You've made your claim. Shut up.
When I say somebody's going to give evidence, you made the claim. Let Rumpus speak. Now, I've chastised Rumpus when he interrupted you. I will chastise you for interrupting him. Okay, so go ahead, please.
So the key thing about whether or not you can see that lighthouse. And this, by the way, is the slope here of the beach, which shows why you shouldn't ignore that. Now, this is.
I don't think we need to go there, Rumpus. I think you've made your point.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
you can see. I do want Rumpus to finish. I do want Rumpus to finish.
I've nearly got. Okay, I've got 2 punchlines, but this.
We still haven't got to the point where you actually address the issue of the land that we see.
Well, but I pointed out the okay. We now need to evaluate Anthony's height, so I'll do that now. I will now evaluate what the real height of Anthony was, rather than this ridiculous 35 feet.
Sorry, not the height that he's at, the land that we see.
Yes, but it's dependent on how high he is, Nathan. Don't you understand that? The observer height is highly critical. Don't you understand, you moron?
Okay, Rumpus. And then go to the land.
Will you please let him finish? I mean, just let him get done so he doesn't have to do it all over again.
Right. So now Nathan's asking me why do we see it?
And then he's ignored.
No, hang on, Nathan. He hasn't strawed man you. Let me interject here. You made a very specific claim. Let me finish.
Google.
Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. When I speak, the rule around here is generally people don't speak. Okay, because somebody has to control this. It's like herding cats. Nathan, you made a very specific claim that I qualified numerous times with you to make sure that you were making this claim. Rumpus is specifically to the T addressing what you said. There's absolutely no straw manning going on here. Zero. I challenge anyone who watches this video afterwards to see if there was any straw manning. He's addressing your claim directly. So please let him finish.
All he's done is attack the elevation of the observer on Google. So far, he hasn't attacked the point at all.
It's dependent on the observer height.
Yeah, he's literally showing it right now.
It's not the claim.
Okay, they know what they're doing is they're just diverting the conversation.
Hang on, gents, stop.
I haven't addressed land that we see.
Well, I'm going to do that now.
In order to address it, he has to establish the height.
All right, he's going to do it right now.
Establish the height before we can address the claim about the land.
Okay, so I want to ask Miles here in a second. Alex wants one more minute to do.
It's already
By
done.
the way, I got to tell you, I think you addressed exactly his claim. I don't see how anybody can say that you didn't address his claim.
Thank you, Steve.
He hasn't addressed the land.
No,
so you've got to get the observer height first, you goddamn moron. Jesus Christ.
Again, that nobody has addressed the claim.
Because you've got to get the observer height right. Jesus Christ, don't you understand anything?
Your hangout, Steve. When I talk, everyone talks over me. So the claim is that we see land that should not be there, and I've made it clear in terms of our claim,
why we do
ability to see it. And yet, all we have had so far is Rumpus attack a straw man of the height of the observer, and nobody has addressed.
You're saying it's irrelevant. You're saying that's irrelevant, are you?
Yeah. Okay. Let me clarify here. What Rumpus is saying. Let me clarify.
Made, you haven't attacked it. Maybe Steve will talk over me now. So the
I'm not trying to
made,
talk over you. Keep interrupting me. Something.
That Steve's got a rule that no one talks when he talks, but when I talk, everyone talks or they mute me. So
because you don't. You're
doing land that is not supposed to be there. You
keep on saying this, Nathan, but you ignore the observer fact that observer height is critical to this. You keep on making the same stupid point. That's why you get interrupted.
Okay, let me jump in here. Let me jump in. Nathan, you made a claim. Rumpus has explained to you why your claim is invalid. He's done a very good job in doing so, in fact. Matter of fact, I think I understand it pretty well. I'm not an idiot. I have a little bit of background in science as well. He is trying to tell you that if you don't know the observer height, if you don't know the variables put in the calculations, you're not going to get good data.
Steve,
Garbage in, garbage out.
Can I just quickly say, if the claim is deemed as invalid, then the conversation is over. Is that really your position?
Well, my position is, do you agree that what Rumpus told you invalidates your claim?
No, answer. No. Answer the question. If your position is that the claim has been invalidated by Rumpus's explanation, the conversation is over. Is that really your position?
Well, fine. I believe Rumpus. I mean, I know Rumpus. What he's saying seems to be correct.
Okay.
So if you think it's not, these are your claims.
Steve,
can I have a word just for a second? I've been quiet through a lot of questions, and I'd like a moment just to speak.
So
yes, go ahead.
The claim has been made.
Alex, I will get back to you.
This land is visible. That's your evidence, Steve. You asked for positive evidence. Our evidence is clear. We see that land. Nobody has shown us.
Can I have a moment?
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
I got to be honest, Steve. I feel like giving up because basically you're saying the assertion, the straw man that has been set up regarding the observer height means that we don't actually have to look and explain the land.
We do have to explain that.
Nobody has had.
We just are one step away from addressing your claim.
All the Globers are really triggered. I'm not getting a full sentence out. You know, what's the point of being here? If you want to say that the straw man is a successful straw man, then fine, we'll leave. You've won. Great. Let's just conclude.
The problem with that is that there is no straw man.
We'll all go home.
Nathan, the very thing you keep asking, he's trying to get out, but you won't let him. You're the one that's interrupting me.
I see the problem here. The problem here, Nathan, is not the data. The data is sound. The problem is that you're claiming something's a straw man when it literally is not. What they're addressing is actually what you've said. I made it very clear that this was your claim, and I qualified it with you numerous times. They're addressing exactly what your claim is. No question about it. Now, if you don't feel that is the case, then you're not articulating your claim correctly.
Yes, I'll articulate it again if you'll let me. The claim is simple. The land that we see, the positive evidence, should not be there on a sphere and can only be there if the Earth is flat.
And he just
we've seen half a sentence. Shall I give up and go, Steve? Because it's clear you're all just wanting to debunk Google. No one wants to address the fact that we see this land.
I would love to.
All right. We have a lot of people that want to talk. Rumpus, I will get back to you, I promise. Okay, first of all, I'm going to call on people. Alex, you have 1 minute. Go. Alex,
all
take
right.
your minute.
So I need my screen again. Give me a second. I have to share it.
Is that a no? No one's going to address the land.
Alex,
I will. No. Steve,
okay.
Is that a no? We're not going to have that point addressed.
We will address it.
This is how this works. Rumpus, I'm gonna hide you too. I have no choice. Listen to me very carefully. I'm going to be calling on people. Nobody else speaks while they're called upon. That way you're not causing any interruptions. Nobody can say they're being talked over. When I call on you, that's who goes. That's how it works in my Hangouts. I don't allow a clusterfuck to occur. I don't allow a bunch of cats being herded. That's not how it works. I like to have the data presented. I like to evaluate the data, and I like the data being in a presentable way that people could